how it came to this. At this moment, Lucky thinks about lowering his head and rushing the cops. In his mind, he sees it play out. The repeated warnings to stop, his perception slowing and lengthening in the surge of crisis, the thump and sting of bullets, followed by the beloved quiet and the relief of weightlessness. In his favorite dream, Lucky floats, drifting past farmhouses, hovering outside their warmly lit windows, looking in at the comfort of full bookshelves and thick rugs and old quilts and scarred kitchen tables. Before this, Lucky stands at the highway exit, scanning for oncoming cars. Nearby, stashed in the weed-strewn bushes of the median, lies his backpack stuffed with cash. In the distance, he sees the glint of an approaching vehicle and begins to pace back and forth frantically, hoping to attract the driver's attention, hoping for the kindness of a stranger who might recognize his distress and give him a ride. When the car begins to slow and pull to the shoulder, he sees the red light bar on its roof and recognizes the insidious shape of a New York State Trooper's blue sedan. He sets the backpack on the counter in front of the teller's window and shoves it toward the woman that faces him. On top of the backpack is a note. The note says, "I have a gun. Put all the money in the backpack. Do not activate the alarm." Her dark brown eyes lock with Lucky's for a moment, and then she opens the drawer and calmly fills the backpack with bundles of cash. When her drawer is empty, she hesitates and briefly looks over her shoulder. Lucky snatches the backpack and takes off running out the front door of the casino. Lucky is up in the blackjack game. He's nearly doubled the $2,000 he started with. It looks as if he's broken the bad streak, a bad streak of days and years. He will pay his brother back. He will look him in the eye and say, "I'm sorry, but here's the beginning of what I owe you." He will have a leg to stand on again. One more hand and I'm out. His top card is an ace. He hits and draws a 9. The dealer's top card is a 7. Lucky goes all in. In the middle of a thunderstorm and 60 miles southwest of the poker table, a cab pulls up, its wipers working furiously. Lucky slides into the back seat, peeling off his backpack and placing it on the floor by his feet. "I'll pay you $100 to run me up to the casino." The trailer stinks of tobacco smoke. Around the living room, Lucky picks out traces of his mother. An aquamarine pashmina draped over the easy chair. Amethyst and quartz crystals lined up along the windowsill. On the coffee table is a Polaroid of Lucky and his brother, posing beneath a whitewashed piece of wood with "Dude Jail" written on it in crude block letters. They are so young, they're barely tall enough to grasp the fake bars. Lucky moves down the carpeted hall into the back bedroom, which had been his mother's. The bed is stripped bare, the closet empty, but the room still smells faintly of the blood orange perfume she wore to kill the smell of his brother's cigarettes. He tried to hide his own habit from her. Lucky closes his eyes. He and his mother had always had a connection. Sometimes she would call him and tell him what he was thinking, or tell him that she had seen a sign, a dead hawk or deer in the road that meant he should be careful driving. Mostly he just felt her presence, no matter how far apart they were, watching, knowing. There was a time when he wanted nothing more than to shake that feeling, when it felt like he would never get away from her, never be alone with his thoughts. He waits. He hears the leaves outside the trailer stir and a low rumble that must be thunder. Somewhere nearby, a chickadee gives its 2-syllable sinking call. The sounds slide past him like thin, flat sheets of paper. Lucky turns and heads back into the living room. It only takes him 5 minutes to find his brother's hiding place. His brother doesn't trust banks. Lucky watches his brother move slowly down the steps of his trailer and ease himself into a cab headed for town, on his way to yet another doctor's appointment. Lucky watches the cab navigate the curve at the end of the road, past the mailboxes, and disappear south. He smokes a cigarette, and then another. A cicada calls from somewhere overhead in a towering cottonwood tree, and another answers from further into the woods. The air presses down on him, humid and tinged with ozone. Through a break in the trees, he sees a portion of the sky darkening from purple to black. 1,000 summer afternoons of his childhood flood back over him. He never expected to return to this place. 1 or 2 fat raindrops splash the steps around his feet. He lights another cigarette and steps inside. His brother purchases the ticket and tells him where to claim it. Lucky boards a bus. Beyond the window, he watches tall palms stutter past blue and white beaches like the bars of a luxurious prison. He watches the traffic give way to open highway and twilight and darkness. He is going home. Lucky texts his brother that he has been kicked out of his apartment, that he is living on the streets, sleeping on the beach or climbing the fences of resorts and sleeping on chaise lounges beside swimming pools. He texts his brother every few minutes. He can't remember if he's already texted. He does not know when his phone will die. He texts that he is clean. He texts that he has a job. He texts that he lost his job. He texts that the cops are staking out his apartment and he's scared and paranoid. He promises that he is telling the truth, will tell the truth, wants to tell the truth. A $23,000 check arrives for Lucky in the mail. A week later, all the money is gone. Lucky texts his brother that he owed all the money to the IRS, and they came to his door to collect, and he'd had no choice but to give it to them. So can he please wire $70 to pay rent? With $100, he can get some food. Before the heat of the season, before the green and the yellow of first flowers have pushed through the old snow, when the trees in the air are still gray and frozen and empty, just a few months back when it still hurt to breathe the air, Lucky's mother dies. Lucky texts his mother that he needs $70 just to pay the rent, $100, and he could even get some food. Lucky's mother drives on bald tires to the grocery store, where she agrees to pay the $25 fee to wire him $100. The woman at the counter swipes her card and hands it back. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but there's insufficient funds." Lucky's mother sits in the parking lot of the grocery store, enjoying the feel of the heater running. She's watching the crows. They've arrived in flocks of hundreds this winter, settling in the frost-thin branches like glossy black leaves. She's never thought badly of crows like other people do. She thinks they're beautiful and insouciant and self-aware. Like her, they enjoy parking lots. Soon, they depart in a feathery cloud that seems to erupt out of nowhere. She would like to follow them in her car, to see where they go. Long before any of this, Lucky's mother wakes in the middle of the night from a dream. She sits up, looking out her bedroom window. A blonde, blue-eyed baby, seated in a lotus position, is floating outside. The window is on the second story. She asks the baby what it wants. It says, "I'm your baby, let me in."